Hi everybody, this is my final video of 2023, and I decided to end the year off by following up my review of LEGO Indiana Jones by looking at the game's sequel. LEGO Indiana Jones 2 The Adventure Continues tells the events of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in the way that every classic LEGO game tells their stories, but it also retells the events of the original trilogy, meaning that half of the game's story mode is a remake of the first game. What doesn't help is that the game's humor is a bit more wacky this time around. I think it works to a degree in Crystal Skull, given that the actual movie is pretty wacky, but when the game does a wacky retelling of the original trilogy, it makes me think of how these stories were retold way better in the first game. Now in terms of the actual game, the formula for these LEGO games have been shaken up in this one considerably. Instead of a single hub world, there are multiple hub worlds that each represent an episode of the game's story mode, and instead of a shop where you can purchase characters, vehicles, and extra features you unlock throughout the story, you have to go all around each hub world looking for secrets that lead you to unlocking and purchasing everything. Now I don't mind some exploration, but it's not a smooth transition from the simpler hub worlds in the older LEGO games. In terms of the actual levels themselves, they're usually condensed to a small area. The best of these types of levels, in my opinion, were the ones that required some actual platforming, because they're ones that got you to think, and were the most fun when I was recording the footage for this video once I figured out what to do. The levels that did not have much platforming were the enemy gauntlets and the vehicle chases, which ended up being my least favorite levels in the game. The enemy gauntlets are short levels that have you beat up a few waves of enemies, and after that's done, the level is over, and you're left disappointed that there wasn't more of the level. The vehicle chases have you chase and crash into various cars throughout the level. These levels are also pretty dull, and it can sometimes take forever to take down all the cars. These are also the levels I noticed were the hardest to get a true adventurer score on. The last types of levels I want to mention are the boss levels at the end of each episode. For some reason, they're all colossal monsters, and this is when the game shows how bizarre the tone truly is, even for Crystal Skull, which I already said is a pretty wacky movie. I think that most of these fights could have just been a person versus person fight without things going to this level of stupid. Overall, LEGO Indiana Jones 2 is not as good as the first game. It had some interesting ideas that later LEGO games would execute a lot better in my opinion, and the fact that half of the game's story mode is a remake of the first game makes the game feel a little pointless. The game can still be fun in places, considering that it still has the same types of controls as other LEGO games, so I guess it's harmless if you just want to try it out for a cheap price. Still though, I think there are better options in terms of classic LEGO games. You guys have a happy new year, and I'll see you in 2024, where I play a LEGO game that is genuinely a classic.